So then came to publish Bhagavad-gita. Prabhupada was so determined to publish it, but there was no money to print it ourselves. And anyway, Allen Ginsberg, who was a friend, although he wasn't a Vaishnava, wasn't a devotee, I mean, he had his own lifestyle, but he was very sympathetic. He had been to India. He liked chanting. Prabhupada instructed him, chant Hare Krishna before you do any poetry reading, and he used to do that. And he gave Prabhupada first harmonium, which he had brought from India, and he would give donations. And with the immigration thing, he was helping. And anyway, when the manuscript was ready for printing, we gave it to Alan, and he was very enthusiastic. He sent it to his publishers, but they rejected it. And then he sent it to some other publishers he knew. Again, everyone rejected it. And after about 6 months of trying it, and he just lost interest. Everyone was rejecting it. So then Prabhupada gave the manuscript to Ray Rama, who was the editor of the Bhakti Godhead. And so he tried, and he was sending it around to academic publishers, and again, everyone rejected. You know, you get the little letter in the mail, thank you very much, however, this doesn't fit into our plans, you know, this and that and everything. So then after about 6 months, then he gave up. So then Prabhupada gave it to me to do. Anyway, by that time, I had absolutely no faith that this was, because I could see that there was no commercial value to this manuscript. I mean, every page there was Krishna consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And I was thinking, well, if you're not Krishna conscious, you're not interested in Krishna consciousness, you're not going to be interested in this commentary. There's no fancy poetry or scholarly, the footnotes and academics, and I had read different Bhagavad-gitas, and no esoteric things, and so I just had no faith, and I didn't know what to do, and I was going to bookstores and trying to see how they were doing, and then to learn how to get a book published, and I was going to the library and reading and trying to find out how to do this, but I didn't know what to do. So in the meantime, Prabhupada had recorded the record, the Hare Krishna record, which eventually the Beatles got, and that interested them when they heard that record. And the record was there was a lot of interest. It was very nice. One radio station played it all night long. For 10 hours they played the record over and over again. The WBAI, one of these alternative radio stations. So we were advertising the record in different kind of underground publications. An order came for the record one day. I used to get the mail and then bring it up to Prabhupada, and we'd go over it together. He would dictate and I would take notes and answer letters and so on. So one order came for a record. It was the letter was from the MACMILLAN company, big publisher worldwide. So and it was on this letterhead, MACMILLAN letterhead. So and so was ordering a record album with a check, and I rushed up to Prabhupada. I said, Prabhupada, look, someone is from the MACMILLAN company. I mean, I didn't know what to do. We were, helpless. Prabhupada had to tell us everything. So Prabhupada said, he thought for a while, and then he said, you bring the record tomorrow, you bring it to the person, personally, and you tell that you have a Bhagavad-gita that you want to publish. And I said, well, okay, I don't know, should I bring the manuscript? No, you just tell them. And I said, well, okay, but I have to say something about you as the author. Maybe I should bring some of the other books you've published, like from India, the books you have already published in my Bhagavad. He said, no, just tell them that you have a Bhagavad Gita to publish. I said, okay. So the next day I went uptown, I got dressed up in shirt and tie, and went uptown to, they have a skyscraper, MACMILLAN Company, and the person who I was giving the record to was an accountant. Had nothing to do with really publishing. He was just adding numbers, and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to think, well, how am I going to tell him, what am I going to tell him? So anyway, we're talking something about the record and the mantra and so on, and I'm kind of sitting there bewildered, and then the door opens and in walks someone, and he all of a sudden, very formally, he says, well, I'd like to introduce you to, and this is James Wade, he's our senior editor, and this is me. So, and I just shook hands with Mr. Wade, and I just looked him right in the face. I said, I have a Bhagavad Gita to publish. He said, a Bhagavad Gita by a Swami, an Indian Swami, here in New York? He did this himself? I said, yes. He said, complete the entire Bhagavad Gita? I said, yes, yes. And he said, well, that's exactly what I'm looking for to fill out our religion section. I got Buddhas, and we have the Quran, we have everything. We don't have a Bhagavad Gita. I need a Bhagavad Gita. Can you want us to publish? Well, we'll publish it. We'll publish it. And I couldn't believe what was happening. He actually agreed to publish it. He didn't even see the manuscript. Everyone else had rejected it for whatever reason, and here he is accepting it without even seeing it. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. I just flew back down to Prabhupada and told him the news. I was so excited, and Prabhupada it was like he was expecting it. Prabhupada just nodded. When